You put two pairs of sunglasses on the table. One costs $350. It has a famous logo on the temple.
A case with a branded cloth and a name you've seen on half the celebrities in your Instagram feed.
The other costs $80, no celebrity endorsements, no logo you'd recognize from 100 feet away, but the lenses are polarized glass.
The acetate is thick and dense, the hinges don't flex when they shouldn't, and the frame will look almost identical in 5 years.
The question isn't which pair looks more expensive, the question is which pair is actually worth what you're paying. Today we're going through 13 brands. 8 of them are names men routinely overpay for, not because the products are always bad,
but because the price is driven by something other than what's in your hands. Then we flip the script.
5 brands that most men walk right past, that quietly deliver better lenses, better construction, and more honest value for the money you're actually spending.
Before we go brand by brand, you need to understand how this market actually works, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. There is one company that controls more of the global eyewear industry than most people realize. Essilor-Luxottica, formed by the merger
of French lens giant Essilor and Italian frame powerhouse Luxottica, sits at the center of a staggering percentage of what you see.
On sunglasses racks around the world, they own Ray-Ban, they own Oakley, they own Persol, they own Oliver Peoples, and they manufacture under license for an enormous list of names you think of as competitors: Prada, Versace, Bulgari, Armani, Coach, Dolce & Gabbana, Tiffany. The brand on the temple often belongs to a fashion house that licensed its name and collects royalties. The factory making the frames might be the same factory making the pair sitting next to it at a completely different price point. This isn't a scandal, it's just a business model, but it has a direct consequence for you as a buyer. When you pay $300 for a pair of Prada sunglasses, part of that price covers the licensing agreement that's between a fashion house and a manufacturer. Part covers the rent at the boutique where you bought them. Part covers the ad campaign where a beautiful person wore them in a beautiful location. What's left over for the actual lens and frame construction? That depends on the brand, and that's exactly what we're going to find out. The single question you should ask
before buying any pair of sunglasses is this: is the price in the lens and the construction, or is it in the logo on the side?
Brand number 1, Ray-Ban. Let's start here because this is where almost every conversation about men's sunglasses starts. Ray-Ban is the most famous sunglass brand in the world. The Wayfarer and the Aviator are 2 of the most iconic shapes in eyewear history. And for decades, Ray-Ban carried genuine heritage, military contracts, optical credibility, real substance. Here's the reality in 2025. Ray-Ban is owned by Essilor-Luxottica. The entry-level Wayfarer Classic retails for around $160 to $180. The lenses on the standard model are CR39 plastic, a very common, very affordable lens material that also shows up in sunglasses that cost $40. Scratch resistance is modest. The frames are made from injected nylon on the lower end
and acetate on the slightly higher end. Neither is unusual for the price. None of this makes Ray-Bans bad sunglasses. The shapes are genuinely timeless. If you buy the polarized version with glass lenses, the optical quality goes up considerably and the purchase becomes more defensible. But most men buying the standard Wayfarer are not checking whether they have glass or plastic lenses. They're buying the icon. They're buying the name on the temple that tells other people what they know about sunglasses. The logo tax on a Ray-Ban is real. You are paying for one of the most recognized silhouettes in eyewear. That has value, but it's brand value, not construction value. Before you buy, ask yourself if this exact frame and lens came without the logo, would you pay $170 for it? Be honest. Brand number 2, Oakley, but only the lifestyle models. Oakley's performance sunglasses are a different conversation. The prism lens technology is legitimate for sport, fishing, driving, cycling. Oakley's optical engineering has real merit and the pricing is easier to justify. But Oakley, the lifestyle brand, selling men fashion-forward silhouettes at $200, $250, and $300, that's where you need to stop and look harder.
Oakley is also owned by EssilorLuxottica, and when you're buying a pair of frog skins or a heavily marketed fashion frame, rather than a sport-specific model, you are buying the association with the performance brand, not the performance product. The frame might be a standard acetate or injection molded nylon construction that you can find at a fraction of the price under a different name.
Buy Oakley when you need their lens technology for the activity it was designed for. If you're buying them because they look good at the bar,
you can do significantly better for the money. Brand number 3, Tom Ford. Tom Ford sunglasses occupy a specific territory in men's fashion. The silhouettes are often bold. The prices run from $250 to over $500. And here's what the price is built on. Tom Ford does not manufacture eyewear. Tom Ford licenses the Tom Ford name to Marcolin Group, an Italian eyewear manufacturer that then makes the frames.
the brand collects a licensing fee, Marcolin absorbs the production costs and manages distribution, the retailer takes their margin. What remains is a frame that, at the construction level, is competing with products at a much lower price point.
The acetate quality on Tom Ford is generally reasonable but not exceptional. You're not getting Japanese crafted acetate with refined hinges and exceptional fit. You're getting a fashion product with a very heavy name printed on it, the TF logo visible on the temple. As a construction story, it doesn't hold up at $500. Brand number 4, Gucci. Gucci sunglasses sit in the same territory as Tom Ford.
But the logo play is even more overt. The interlocking GG, the red and green stripe on the temple,
The green or brown lens with barely visible branding. Gucci eyewear is a wearable logo in a way that few other products are.
Men who buy Gucci sunglasses know exactly what they're paying for. They're paying for the signal, they're paying to walk into a room and have someone read the frame and draw a conclusion about their financial situation. That's a legitimate purchase if you value that signal.
But Gucci eyewear is made through Kering Eyewear, Kering's in-house manufacturing group. The product costs are not dramatically different, Regnia.
From comparable frames at a third of the price, the lens in a $350 pair of Gucci sunglasses. It is often a standard CR39 mineral lens with a fashion tint. The acetate is fine, the hinges are adequate, the logo is doing the heavy lifting. Is the price in the lens and the construction, or is it in the logo on the side? For Gucci, the answer is almost entirely the logo. Brand number 5, Versace. Versace sunglasses follow the same model, heavy Medusa branding on the temples, fashion collaborations, strong celebrity placements.
prices between $200 and $400. For years, Versace eyewear was manufactured under Luxottica's licensing umbrella.
The construction story is comparable to Gucci. The acetate and frame quality is adequate for the price. The lenses are generally standard.
What you are paying for is the Medusa head and everything that name communicates in specific social environments.
If you're the kind of man whose professional and social circle reads that logo and responds to it, the purchase makes a certain kind of social sense. As a sunglass buying decision based on what goes into the product, it's hard to justify the markup. Brand number 6, Prada. Prada does something slightly more interesting than pure logo play. There's a design intelligence to many Prada sunglass silhouettes, particularly in their more restrained models, that elevates the product above pure status signaling. Some men buying Prada genuinely care about the design aesthetic. And honestly, the design is sometimes worth acknowledging, but the manufacturing reality is the same. Prada eyewear is produced under license, historically through the Luxottica Group, with production now also through Sofilo. The frame construction at $300 to $500
Is not qualitatively superior to products that cost significantly less from brands with genuine in-house optical expertise. You are paying for Italian fashion house branding.
Retail experience, and a design sensibility that is real, but heavily inflated by the distribution and licensing structure surrounding it.
If you love a specific Prada silhouette, that's a valid reason to buy. Just be clear about what you're actually paying for. Brand number 7, Persol. Persol is the most interesting case in this group because Persol has genuine heritage that deserves respect and created one of the most coveted sunglass moments in cinema history, the Maflecto system, a flexible hinge mechanism built into the temple.
Is a real patented innovation. Persol earned its reputation, but Persol was acquired by Luxottica in 1995.
Prices have risen significantly over the years, with many models now retailing at $300 to $450.
The Italian craftsmanship and the genuine optical heritage are still present in some models, particularly the handcrafted acetate versions made in the Persol factory. The lenses remain a strong point. The question is whether the current price represents genuine quality uplift or whether Persol is selling its own history. Back to you at a premium, the answer is somewhere in the middle, which makes Persol complicated. Some models justify the price. Many men would be better served by understanding what they're actually paying for before defaulting to the name. Brand number 8, Maui Jim.
Maui Jim is different from everything on this list so far. They're not a fashion house, they're not a luxury brand. They're a sunglass specialist that built a strong reputation around polarized lens technology and Hawaiian lifestyle branding, and they've used that reputation to push retail prices between $200 and $400 for most of their line. The lenses are legitimately good. Maui Jim's Polarized Plus 2 technology does real things for color, clarity, and glare reduction, especially in high glare environments like on the water.
Or in bright sunlight at altitude, this is a brand where the optical product has genuine merit. The issue is that the pricing,
especially in the middle of their range, doesn't always reflect an equivalent advantage in frame construction. The frames are often nylon, not acetate, not metal. Durable, light, functional. But at $270, men reasonably expect more than competent engineering and great lenses in a plastic frame. The brand premium is doing meaningful work here. The lens story is real. The construction story at that price point is not always proportional. If you fish or ski or spend serious time outdoors, Maui Jim's lenses deserve serious consideration if you're buying them for how they look.
At brunch, there are alternatives. Before we get to the 5 brands that actually over-deliver, let's spend 60 seconds on what to actually look for.
because this is how you start buying sunglasses, like someone who knows what they're doing instead of someone who's being marketed to lenses first. Polarization and UV protection are different things. UV 400 is the standard you want. It blocks 99 to 100% of UVA and UVB radiation.
Most reputable sunglasses hit this standard. Polarization is about reducing reflected glare from flat horizontal surfaces, water, roads, snow, glass.
It makes vision clearer and more comfortable in high glare conditions. It does not protect your eyes more from UV. Both matter, but for different reasons.
Lens material. Glass lenses offer superior optical clarity and scratch resistance, but they're heavier. CR39 plastic is the most common material.
Light, cheap to produce, decent clarity, scratches more easily. Polycarbonate is impact resistant and light, often used in performance sunglasses.
Mineral glass is the benchmark for optical quality when weight isn't an issue. Frame material. Acetate is cut from a sheet of layered material.
And finished by hand, it's denser, thicker, and generally more premium than injected nylon, which is poured into a mold.
You can often tell the difference by weight and feel. Acetate feels more substantial. Metal frames, particularly stainless steel or titanium,
offer durability and a different aesthetic. Hinges, a 5-barrel hinge is more durable than a 3-barrel. Spring hinges add flex more,
but introduce more mechanical complexity and more failure points. A solid barrel hinge that closes cleanly and doesn't have play in it is a good sign.
Fit, how the frame sits on your nose, how the temples grip your head, whether the lenses block peripheral light adequately.
A premium frame that fits badly is worse than a modest frame that fits well. And one more thing. Can you replace the lenses? If the brand supports lens replacement, the frame is built to last. If you can't replace the lenses without effectively buying a new pair, the product is designed for disposal. If this changes how you look at a sunglass purchase, stay with us.
We do this work so you don't have to start from scratch every time you're standing in front of a display. Now we flip.
These 5 brands are the answer to everything the previous 8 represent. Less obvious names, better stories, more value for the money you actually spend. Hidden goldmine number 1, Randolph Engineering. If you want a classic silhouette, the Aviator specifically, and you want to stop paying for a logo, Randolph Engineering is the first place you should look, and Randolph Engineering is based in Randolph, Massachusetts, and has been making sunglasses in the United States since 1972.
They hold military contracts with the United States Air Force and Navy. For years, Randolph Aviators were the issued sunglasses for American military pilots.
That's not a marketing claim, that's a procurement contract. The product had to meet actual specifications for optical quality, durability, and performance in extreme conditions.
The frames are made from high-quality metal, typically American-made bayonet temples or skull temples in stainless or chrome. The lenses are mineral glass. They are heavier than polycarbonate, and they scratch more than plastic. They are also optically sharper than almost anything else at anywhere near this price point.
The Aviator model runs between $160 and $220, depending on lens and frame configuration.
Compare that directly to a Ray-Ban Aviator at around $180 to $200. Both are around $200.
One has a lens that the US military trusted for pilot operations. One has a logo that movies trusted for cultural relevance.
The choice is clear once you know both options exist. Randolph isn't cool the way Ray-Ban is cool. They don't sponsor music festivals.
Their Instagram is quiet, but the product, specifically the lens quality and the frame integrity, is genuinely exceptional for the money.
This is what paying for construction looks like. Hidden goldmine number 2, Barton Perreira. If your priority is design quality.
Not fashion brand design, but eyewear specialist design from people who only make eyewear, Barton Perreira is where you go.
Founded by Bill Barton and Patty Perreira, 2 veterans of the luxury eyewear industry, Barton Perreira makes frames in Japan.
Japanese manufacturing in eyewear has a very specific meaning. It means tight tolerances, exceptional acetate processing. The Japanese eyewear industry, centered in the Sabai and Fukui regions, produces some of the finest frames in the world. And Barton Perreira's production runs through that system. The acetate is dense and layered with real depth of color. The hinges are 5-barrel, solid, and don't develop play over time the way cheaper hinges do. The shapes are thoughtful and genuinely independent. Not chasing the trend cycle, not imitating something famous. These are sunglasses for men who care about what they're wearing,
but don't need the logo to tell the story. Prices run from around $200 to $350.
Which puts them in the same range as many of the overpriced brands in the first half of this list.
The difference is where the price comes from. At Barton Perreira, you are paying for the acetate, the hinge quality, the Japanese finishing, and the design. There is no licensing fee. There is no celebrity ambassador contract to cover. The money goes into what you're holding. So,
hidden goldmine number 3, Moscot. Moscot is a New York optical institution, founded in 1915 on the Lower East Side. Moscot has been fitting eyeglasses and sunglasses on New Yorkers for over 100 years. The shapes are rooted in real optical heritage. Rounded frames, keyhole bridges, silhouettes that come from the actual history of spectacle making, not from a fashion house design team looking for something new to license. The construction is serious. Moscot makes frames in acetate and metal, and the fit and finish reflects a company whose identity is completely tied to eyewear. This is not a bag brand or a shoe brand or a clothing brand making sunglasses as an extension of their lifestyle universe. This is an eyewear company that has been an eyewear company for over a century. The Lemtosh, the Milton, the Zolman. These are shapes that have aged through actual time, not manufactured heritage. When a brand like Tom Ford sells you history, it's a story. When Moscot sells you history, there are actual receipts from 1915. Price range sits between $140 and $250, depending on the model and material. The fit is intelligent, the construction is durable, the brand story is the real thing.
Hidden goldmine number 4, Garrett Leight California Optical. Garrett Leight, or GLCO, was founded in 2011 in Venice Beach, California, by the son of Larry Leight,
who founded Oliver Peoples. Oliver Peoples was eventually acquired and folded into the Luxottica Group. Garrett Leight took a different path, staying independent, building a direct-to-consumer and selective retail presence, and betting on product quality and cultural credibility rather than licensing and mass distribution.
The result is a brand that occupies a genuinely interesting space. The acetate is high quality, thick, well finished. The shapes balance California ease with optical credibility. The fit is considered. The hinges are solid. What's compelling about GLCO from a value standpoint is that the direct-to-consumer structure means less margin layered on top of the product. You're not funding a flagship boutique on Madison Avenue
or a deal with a major retailer who takes 40 to 50% of the retail price. The pricing is in the 150
to 250 range. And what you get at that price reflects actual investment in materials and design rather than distribution overhead.
The brand also has the kind of cultural authenticity that money can't buy, but that many of the big licensed brands spend enormous money trying to simulate.
Hidden goldmine number 5, Warby Parker. Warby Parker is probably the most familiar name in this second group, but it belongs here because it changed the conversation about how sunglasses should be priced, and it backs that conversation up with a product that delivers.
Warby Parker was built on a single observation. The eyewear industry had an oligopoly problem, and a direct-to-consumer model could break it.
By owning the design process, manufacturing relationships, and retail channels, Warby Parker eliminated the licensed brand markup and the multi-tier distribution margin. The result is sunglasses that sell for around $95 with polarized lenses in acetate frames with a home try-on program and a one-to-one buy-a-pair, give-a-pair charitable model. At $95 with a polarized lens, Warby Parker doesn't have many direct competitors.
The acetate is lighter and thinner than what Barton Perreira or GLCO offers. The hinges are functional rather than exceptional.
The designs are clean and classic without being remarkable. You are getting honest, respectable construction at an honest price.
Not hidden behind a celebrity campaign, not inflated by a licensing fee, not marked up to fit a boutique where the air conditioning alone costs more per month than most men spend on sunglasses all year. If you want the best value per dollar in a reliable, daily wear sunglass with solid optical quality, Warby Parker is a straightforward answer. The brand doesn't pretend to be something it isn't, neither does the price. Now let's close this out properly. There's a specific feeling men chase when they buy a pair of famous sunglasses. It's not irrational. It's the feeling of wearing something that communicates a specific idea about who you are, what you can afford, that feeling is real. Social signaling has genuine value in certain contexts. We're not here to tell you that feeling doesn't matter, but here's what else is real. You can have that feeling and still get taken. You can pay $350 for a pair of sunglasses and end up with a CR39 plastic lens, an injected nylon frame, and a licensing fee baked into a sticker price.
You can walk past a brand you've never heard of that's producing acetate frames with glass lenses and genuine 5-barrel hinges at half the price.
Because nobody paid a celebrity to post about it, the market for men's sunglasses is one of the most aggressively brand-managed categories in fashion. The gap between what a frame actually costs to produce and what it sells for is enormous, routinely tenfold or more on premium branded products.
Most of that gap is not craftsmanship. It's positioning, it's distribution, it's licensing, it's the systematic manufacture of desire. Once you can see that gap, the whole category looks different. You stop looking at the logo first, you start looking at the lens material. You check whether the frame is acetate or injected nylon. You squeeze the bridge and see if it has real flex, or just flexes because the material is thin. You look at the hinges and count the barrels. You ask whether the lenses can be replaced.
In 2 years, when the coating starts to fail, these are not complicated things to check. They take 30 seconds in a store. And they will consistently separate the products that charge you for quality from the products that charge you for the logo.
And deliver quality as an afterthought. The rule is simple. Before you pay $300 for sunglasses, ask one question.
Is the price in the lens and the construction, or is it in the logo on the side, if you can answer that question honestly?
You will never overpay for sunglasses again, and the brands that earn your money will be the ones that actually put it into what you're holding.
If this kind of breakdown is useful to you, subscribe and we'll keep doing it. Every category, every brand, every price point.
Because the difference between price and value is almost always somewhere you can see it, if you know what to look for.